Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We need to go back and finish this key features. This is lesson 4, key features. Now, some of you are in different spots. So based on what class you're in, one class we did this whole example already. So if you did the example already and you have it in your notes, then make sure that you can just go forward with this. Or you can listen to me again, one of the two. All right, so we talked already about x-intercepts. So let's look at x-intercepts. An x-intercept, remember, and I did it in blue. An x-intercept is any place where it hits the x-axis. So the x-intercepts for this is 2, 0, and 4, 0. The y-intercept, let's do it in green, is going to be 0, 7. The domain, excuse me, is anywhere going, like looking at the graph, is it going left forever, is it going right forever? So when I look at the graph, I know they're both going up, but definitely they are going out. So it is left forever, it is right forever. In the range is your down to up, right? So down to up on the graph. So is it going down forever? So you're looking at the y's. This is the one time really you look at the y's. You look at the x's for almost everything else when we're describing these, like increasing, decreasing, and all that stuff. But you look at the y's for a range. So the lowest point it goes to is -1, and then it goes up forever because there's arrows. And is there a point on -1? Yes. So we're going to put a bracket around that. So we did increasing, decreasing in class. Remember, increasing is where it's going up the hill, decreasing is where it's going down the hill. Does the graph have a relative min or max? So remember, a relative max is where there's a peak. A relative, so that would be the max. A relative min would be where there's a valley. And by looking at this graph, there's not any peaks, but there's one valley. So we're going to say it has a relative min. Okay. I'm going to do something. I want you guys to change this if you haven't. Again, I have one class where we did this already. So your graphs are done for this already. My other class, not so much. All right, so looking at example 3, we're looking at a different graph. And it says which point A, B, C, or D are relative maxes. So I have it, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. Can you see that okay on your graph? So relative mins, remember minimums is where we have that valley. So we have that goes down. And I would say B and D are relative mins. Oops, and I skipped the relative max, sorry. I went right to B because I put my picture too big. Relative maxes are going to be your A and your C because that's going to be where your peak is. And it has to have a peak. It has to go where it goes up and goes back down. Okay. We're going to color code the increasing versus the decreasing, right? Okay, so increasing is when I'm looking at the graph, I look at it from left to right. Increasing is where it's going up the hill, okay? So I see it starts from negative infinity, starts from all the way like negativeville, and it stops increasing at that point. Now this x value, we're going to say is 1. So from wherever in negative infinity world to where x, remember you don't talk about it in terms of y's, you talk about it in terms of x's, to 1, it is increasing, okay? Then it goes down the hill, and then where does it go back up? It goes back up when it goes from that min to that max, okay? Because the min and the max are really going to be the determining factors. So I would say this is, I don't know, like, it's not quite in the middle, so like 4.75, right? to the max here is 7.5 maybe. That sounds good? I don't know. We'll just put some numbers on it because it's not exact. So we got from 4.75 to 7.50 is our other increasing part. And then we got another one. Now remember, all the graphs prior to this have only had one increasing. So we've got 3 sections here. Okay, this is where it's going back up the hill again. And let's say, because these are going up by 2s, this actually looks like it's pretty close to the middle between 10 and 11, or 10 and 12. So let's say 11 here. Okay? Sound like a plan? To infinity, because it goes up forever. It's continuing to go up forever, okay? Now, again, I looked at only the x values for these, right? Only x's. And because there's 3 sections, what we're going to do is we're kind of like what you did when we did the OR statements and the inequalities. We're going to put a u in between each of them. Okay, so that's my green. Now my red's going to show me where it's decreasing. Going down, and it's going down. Okay, going down here. So it's going down in 2 spots. Okay, now remember, basically you can kind of look in between the u's of the increasing, because remember, from 1 to 4.75, it was going up the hill. I'm sorry, going down the hill, right? Going down the hill. And then from 7.5 to 11, it's going down the hill again, right? So 7.5 to 11, it's going back down the hill. So it's in between the points where it's increasing. So that is that graph. That one's a little bit more complex than the ones that we did before. All right, and I got one more big one for you. One more big one. So let's do this. Okay, label any relative max. Max is, remember, where there's a peak. We're going to label it with an A. So when you guys do your little project that I sent home with you that you got to do on Friday, Friday, right? You're going to put an A there. You can do a little key and do this if you want. You want to put letters, you want to do colors, whatever. Relative min is going to be where we have to put a B. So I see down here is a B. Now, where it stops, these points where it stops is not mins or maxes. You actually literally have to have a term for it to be a maximum, or a term like from down to up to be a minimum. So these endpoints here are not mins or maxes, okay? How do you know it's a function? Because it passes the vertical line test. Okay, so that would be an explanation. State the domain. The domain are all the x's, right, that we're using. So let me change the colors. So it looks like it goes from -5 to 5, including points. Like there's an actual point there on -5. There's an actual point there on 5. So we're going to say -5 and all including from -5 to 5, right? Okay, how about the range? The range are the y's, and this is the 1 point, right, from down to up. So see, this is what I'm doing is I'm taking the lowest point and the highest point, and it's that B and A again that's going to help us determine how high up and how low. And I'm looking at the y's. So I got -4, and I always go low to high. So you got to write in your brackets, in your intervals, the lowest up to the highest. So -4 to 2. Okay. The y-intercept is where it hits the y-axis. So it looks to me like it is at 0, -1. And the x-intercept is where it hits that x-axis. Now this one's not a great. I'm gonna tell you right now. We're gonna put it at an integer just because it looks like it's not really quite there. But I want to get a nice even number here for you. So we're gonna say -1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna call this -4, even though I think it's a little before. We're gonna use it as a nice even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 3 x-intercepts. I've got -4, 0, -1, 0, and 5, 0. Do not, I repeat, do not put U's in between there. It's not; those are not chunks of like segments, right? They're not intervals. You don't put like a U in between. Those are just coordinate points. So it's a coordinate point, then another coordinate point, then another one. All right. Name the interval where the function is increasing. Okay, so let's do some color coding again. Increasing. Let me make it big for you guys. Going up a hill, looking from left to right, up a hill, going up a hill, okay? We look again at the x's. Do not look at the y's for this. Okay, the x, where it's going from increasing, and then it turns, it looks like it's from -5 to -3. So we're going to say from -5 to -3, and they always put parentheses around it. And then the other piece where it starts to go up the hill again is from 3 to 5. So from 3 to 5. Okay, so, and I'm going to put a U in between, right? Okay, how about where it is going down the hill? I'm going to do yellow. Can't really see it well on this one. Okay, so in between those numbers, so in between -3 and 3, it's going down the hill. It's decreasing. Okay, so everybody see that? Okay. All right. That looks like it's pretty good. Okay. I did this one already for my honors group. You don't, for extended, you don't have to do J and K. So we're going to skip that one. And I think that is all. I think I'm going to save that one for you guys as a little review when we come back. So if there's any piece of the video that you missed, depending on what class you're in, just make sure you, like I said, fast forward to that one and get all these other examples down, and you are good to go. And make sure that the homework for lesson 4 gets done tonight or today. Okay? Take care.